everyone, back with another homework video for Discovering Pre-Algebra Part 2. In this one we have 12 proportionality problems, but now they're decimals and stuff that are not pretty. And the reason is because we're getting ourselves prepared for unit prices and everything whenever we start comparing them using proportions and other things that have to do with money. We got to be used to those decimals. So it works the same way as the last worksheet. We're going to, in this one, do the opposite of what the 14 is doing to the unknown. Right now it's dividing, so we're going to multiply. Oh, forgot that if you're in my class, you know the drill. Check your work. Pause and check it before you go forward. If not, and you would like to know some more about this class, how you can take it, go to my profile. You'll find a link to it in the description of this video below, and you can look at all my classes on OutSchool, which is a homeschooling website for you to be able to take classes from some pretty unique teachers. All right, so in this one, I'm going to multiply both sides by 14. And that's going to give me over here, remember these are going to go to a 1. If I multiply it out, it's going to be 1 times question mark. Anything times 1 is the other number, so we don't really need it. All right, so 14 times 2 is 28, and that's going to be divided by 3. Remember, a fraction bar means to divide. So we're going to divide this out. 3 does not go into 2, but it does go into 28. It does that. Actually, it does that 9 times, which is 27. All right, now, very important. We only have to go to the tens place, okay? And because this answer says it's a 3, I'm guessing this was a irrational number. We're about ready to see. That's going to give me a remainder of 1. Well, got to put a decimal here and drop down a 0. In this class, I assume that you know this because in Discovering Pre-Algebra Part 1, we extensively cover how to do problems with decimal operations, how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide decimals along with fractions. So 3 goes into 10 3 times, and I'm just going to keep getting this 10, so I know, yes, the answer is 9.3. All right, in this one, the 24 is dividing the unknown, so I need to multiply both sides by a 24. Well, 3 times 24 is going to be 72 over 5, and these are going to make that 1 we talked about in class, so it's question mark. 5 can go into 7 one time. Remember, don't try to take the whole number into consideration when you do it, because sometimes you're just shooting yourself in the foot whenever you do that. Just take what you can visualize, 1 digit at a time. 5 goes into that 24 times, and we're done with 14.4. All right, the 28 is dividing the unknown, so I need to multiply. All right, that is going to give me 84 over 5, which equals question mark. For here, I get a 1. And we talked about the identity property of multiplication, which tells us that we don't have to worry about those ones. All right, so 5 goes into 8 5 times with 3 left over. Drop down my 4. That's going to be a 6. Can't go all the way into the 7 because 7 times 5 is 35. So we're just 1 off. My decimal point and drop down to 0, and then 5 goes into 48 times. All right, now just like we talked about in the last video for worksheet 2-1, we got to flip this, okay? We can't have our unknown dividing a number because then I have no idea how many parts. We talked about it in class. It's kind of like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. So we have to flip it, and if I flip one side, I can't do what I just did and not flip the other side. That wouldn't be following the rules of math equality or equivalency. I have to be equivalent. I have to be equal to both sides. If I do something on one side, I gotta do it to the other. So the 7 is dividing the unknown, so I'm going to multiply it on both sides, leaving me with 70 over 3 equals that unknown. So 3 can go into 7 twice. So I'm trying to take the whole 70 in at once. 3 can go into 10 3 times. Those pesky 3s. They're always dividing up my numbers weirdly. Maybe it's something about them being so odd and quirky. That joke. Alright, so we're going to get this repeating 3. So the answer is 23.3. Alright, so again, this is a flipper. We got to flip this one. Alright, I'm going to multiply both sides by 60. Again, like I told you in the first video and in class, I do not do cross product rule. I believe it's what confuses students whenever they go to divide fractions or multiply fractions, and they're like, I don't know when I cross and when I don't cross. It's because it's a trick and nobody's ever taught them why it works in context. So I don't teach cross product. All right, so 5 goes into 10 2 times, and we get to stop. That's it. It worked out perfectly that time because I get a 0 when I'm done. So the answer to this one is 72. Again, we got to flip it because the unknown is on the bottom. All right, so this is going to be, oh, phew, can't believe I wrote the 4. It's going to be carry a 4. 22, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Over 8. Because I'm going to multiply both sides by the 12.5. Forgot to write that step. Alright, so 8. How many times are you going to go into this number? Probably a lot, I would think. Can't go into 1. Can't go into 11. How many times are you going to go into that? It can go in 11. I misspoke. Yeah, we can go into 11 one time, which is going to give me 3 and a 2. Oh, this is doable. This is doable. If you're sitting there saying, I don't know. Well, we always know our 5s. That's the one multiplication skill everybody seems to know. And this time we'll just subtract till we get to what we need. Okay, so we're going to subtract, like I just said. So let's look at 8 times 5. That's 40, right? Subtract 7, and we're at 30. Wait a minute. 8 times 5, sorry, is 40. Okay, so if I want to go to the next one below, I'm going to have to subtract 8, not 7. Like I said, because, you know, sometimes I mess up too. And we're going to get a 32. So I know that it's 1 less than 5. And that 1 less than 5 is going to make it a 4. Drop down my 5. 8 cannot go into 5. Who would have thought it can't go into 5? Oh, you know what? No, it's not wrong. Okay. I'll tell you why it's not wrong. I'm going to show you here in a minute. For a minute there, I was like, my answer's wrong because it goes in 0 times. No, because there was a very important thing that I forgot to highlight at the beginning of this worksheet. So let me highlight it now. Oh, I did highlight it. Tens place. We're rounding our answers to the tens place. So that means in these situations, when it doesn't repeat, I need to go out to the hundreds place and see what that does. Well, it can't go into 5. I'm going to add a 0 because writing my $5 in all of these ways, don't know why I would write it that way. It's not really common. All means the same thing. I have $5 bills or a $5 bill. So either one. So I'm going to drop down that 0. 8 can go into that. Well, we know 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48, so it's 6. And this keeps going, but I'm not going to keep going because I only need this place value right here. The 6 is going to round me up to 14.1. Look at that. The beauty of math. I tell you, it's so beautiful. It makes me want to cry sometimes. So beautiful. It's like staring into a very awesome light. All right, question mark over 7 equals 3 over 9. The 7 is dividing the unknown, so I have to multiply it on both sides. That's going to give me a 1, leaving me just with that question mark. 7 times the 3 is 21. That's going to be over 9. Let's go ahead and divide out that 21 and 9. So 9 can go into that 2 times. Can't go all the way up to 3. That would be 27. That's going to give me 3. Put my decimal in and my 0. Now I got 30. Now I can go in 3 times. That's going to be 27. And look what happens, like usually happens when 3 is involved. We're going to get a repeater. So I know it's not going to round it up. My answer is 2.3. All right, the 18 is dividing, so I have to multiply 18 on both sides. Got to be equal. This one's a long one. I'm going to go ahead and do this onto the side. That's 64, carry my 6. That's going to be 16 plus 6, which is going to give me about 22. Put my 0 in for my placeholder. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. And my answer is going to be 504 over 100. Forgot to put my 1 down there. All right, so I know that that's going to go in there at least 5 times, right? Let's go ahead and see it go as far as we have to round it. It is. It's going to, 5 times 100, it's going to be 500. All right, so decimal point, drop a 0. Well, 100 can't go into 40. All right, so I'm going to put a 0, drop another 0. 100 can go into 400 4 times. But 4 is not enough to round that 0 up to the next one. So the answer is just that 5.0. All right, I can taste the end. We're getting to it. All right, so I need to multiply both sides by 4 because it's dividing the unknown. That's going to equal 1, leaving me just with my unknown. Put a 1 underneath my 4 and multiply. It's going to be 8 over 10. All right, so 10 does not go in the 8. So I know right off the bat, I'm putting in that decimal point. 10 does go into 80 8 times, okay? And that's it. That's all she wrote. So the answer is 0.8. All right, we got one that we need to flip. So if I flip one side, got to flip that other side. All right, the 7 is dividing the unknown, so I need to multiply 7 on both sides, leaving me just with my question mark. 6 times 7 is 42 over 4. I know it's going in at least 10 times. If I have $42 and I need to put it in groups of 4, then I know I'm going in at least 10 times. So drop down my 2. 4 can't go into 2, so that's 10. All right. I can drop down a 0 now. 4 can go into 25 times. That's all she wrote. Gotta flippy floppy this thing. Multiply both sides by 6. Alright, and put that 1 there. So I just have question mark over here. 6 times 9 is 54. Carry my 5. 24, 29. So I have 5. That should have been 29 over 7. Okay, so 249 divided by 7. This is going to be interesting. 3 times 7 is 21. Let's go a little higher. How about 4 times 7? That's 28. And then I'm going to drop 1. Drop the 4. 4 can go into 14 2 times. Last one. Let's savor it and go uber slow. What do you guys say? I say yes, yes. So the 3 is dividing that beautiful question mark. That's our variable placeholder. So if I were to just multiply across, I'd get 3 over 3, which equals 1. So I just have that question mark. If I'm going to multiply this side by 3, I must most definitely multiply this side by 3. So that is going to be 171 over 25. All right, I know that I can go at least 6, okay, because just close to 175, but not quite there, okay? And if I have $1.75, I essentially have what? 4, 5, 6, 7 quarters, Well, I don't quite have that, so I know I'm going to be less than at 6, which is going to give me 12, 15, a remainder of 21. Put my little thingy there and drop down my 0, my decimal. I should not be that rude to it. So 25 can go into this. We're going to say 8 times because that's 200. All right, and 25 can go into 100 4 times. Unfortunately, that 4 is not enough to round up the 8. It's just 6.8. All right, that's it for this worksheet. Keep working on it, and I'll see you in class. I'll see you in the next homework video. And if you have any problems, you know how to contact me to help you. All right, you guys keep learning, keep discovering.